Well, we want to welcome everybody to Mom and Dad Talks. Today, we're going to have a mystery of the conversation here today. So you all should be able to pick it out fairly easy. Of course, Mom and Dad Talks, we have our two favorite people, which are Mom and Dad. So welcome, Mom and Dad. How y'all doing today?
Doing just fine.
Blessed and
Doing just
highly
fine.
favored.
Yes.
Yes. So we have a mystery.
Blessed by the best.
We have a mystery topic today that we want our people to figure out. So I'm going to start off with this. Mom and Dad, I love you guys. Really do.
Todd, we love you.
Mhm.
No
And I-
matter what.
Yes.
Yes.
You
So
are our favorite son.
and I
You are my favorite child.
all this favorite love here, man. I don't know what to do. How could I go wrong without love? And that's our subject for today. We're talking about love and why is it important. None of us have perfect families or family settings, whatever. But I'm going to open up just a little bit. One of my cousins opened up to me. He doesn't mind me talking about this. Is that his mother never hugged him, and he told me he missed a hug, and the parent basically said, I don't give out hugs to my children. And he said, Todd, I wish that my parent was more like, he said he's not envious or anything like that, how your parents treat you and my other cousin, Carlin. I wish they would give me more hugs, love me, and I think that's the problem with a lot of people today is that we don't show and we don't appreciate people in love, and it's more than just saying you love them. It's more than taking care of them. It's actually giving some hugs and supporting them. Being consistent. So tell me, you all, what are your thoughts about love, Mom and Dad?
Love is the greatest gift you can give. And love is one of the greatest gifts you can receive.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the Bible, it says God is love.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a gift from God. And since it's a gift from God, I feel that we as Christians need to share that gift with everyone, even the unlovable. Because love, how do you say it? True love does not imprison anyone. There's all kinds of love.
Yes.
And a lot of people use love as a tool to beat you with. If you love me, you'll buy me a mink coat.
Yeah.
If you love me, you'll do this. If you love me, you're gonna put me in a mansion.
Yeah.
If you love me. True love has no ifs. True love is truly unconditional.
That's beautiful, Dad. And can I ask you a question? I mean, because I didn't grow up in your house, but Dad, did your mom and dad give you a whole lot of love and hugs and stuff?
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
And how did you feel when they did you feel like you could take on the world?
I felt as though I were part of them. And that's what love does to siblings, to children. It makes you feel as though you're a part of your mother and you're a part of your father.
I mean, because I can remember me growing up, I just had hugs all the time from my mom and my dad. It was not either one more than the other. It was just equally. And, I just felt I could always take on the world with that. And I want to encourage people who are parents, hug your child as often as you can, because they need that reinforcement. Mom, let's get to you, Mom.
Okay, you can get to me. First of all, I'd like to say that I always like to look up and see what Webster says is the definition of love.
Okay.
And he says it's a warm attachment. And also it says feel affection for. Okay, so I grew up in a home where one of my parents was a little more affectionate than the other. And this is what I remember about my dad. He worked a 3 to 11 shift. Of course, when he would come home from work after 11 o'clock at night, we would be in our bed sleep. And I can remember him coming to our bedroom and kissing us on the cheeks and saying, I love you, little kids. And just to hear the word from your parents saying, I love you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you never ever wanted to do anything that would be displeasing to them,
Mm-hmm.
and that would make you disobedient to them.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe that with love being shown, affectionate and love showing love in the home, that helps for a child to grow up in a loving way.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, you know, my dad was such a good example to me. I said, when I have a child, I'm going to follow that same example. And so that's what I do as portraying to my child, which is you, Todd, all your life. I said, I'm going to love him. I'm going to love him. I'm going to love him. I'm not going to spoil him. I'm going to love him. So, because there's a difference in love and spoiling a child. You know, so I focused on love, and I can see where love paid the love that I showed has paid off. Great.
Oh yeah.
And the other thing I'm going to say is bring out is that in our life that we walk in, even it doesn't have to be anyone related to me. It can be my neighbors. It can be somebody that I've never met. But if I can portray a form of love to them to show them that I love them, then that draws them even closer to, closer to us as being friends. I had a friend that came over the other day. I talked to her on the phone and she said, you know, I'd really like to meet you. She said, we need to go to lunch together, lunch sometime. And I said, okay. I said, but I have an idea. Why don't you come to our house for lunch this Thursday? And when she came into our home on Thursday, it was like we were never strangers, because she felt so at ease. And I said, well, I'm going to portray that I don't know her as a person that I've never met. I'm going to portray somebody that I feel like I've known a long time. So I say that to say this, that showing a form of love to anybody, they respond. That's love conquers all. And it says, God so loved the world, even that he gave his only begotten son. And to know that I could not even do what God does, because I only have one son. And I thought, to give him up, I don't have that much of a love to do that. But I'm so glad that God did love me enough to give his only son.
And that's a deep thing, you know. I mean, you know, it's hard enough to any child, but letting your only child, you know, it's a very deep thing. You're like, you know, you're gonna let go of your only child for people that don't even want your child, your child. I mean, that's hard enough, you know. Is when people mistreat your son, and I'm, you know, X amount of years old as I am, it still bothers my parents. The fact is that, you know, he's a good person. And just people out there are just mean and vicious. And that's because they don't love themselves. And it forces them to not love people, because they're that's what makes people mean, right? When they don't have that love inside them. And the fact of it is that it's like an abuse. Yeah, what do you want to say, Dad?
Well, you know, and that's the thing, you know, when you experience love, you become a loving person.
Yeah.
But when you don't experience love, you become a very hateful and mean person. And, you know, just from what happened this week, I mean, I can't imagine how that kidnapping in Michigan of our governor, how hateful those people were. Right. Yes, even though you have a difference of opinion, there is no cause for outright hatred and meanness like we experienced.
Yeah.
And right now, you know, during this election, I see a lot of people that are hateful towards people of the opposite party. Just hate it.
And that's the thing. There's no such thing as conditional love. If it's conditional, it's not really love at all. Right. And I think a lot of people try to say, I have a condition why I love you. Well, you know, really love, there's an unconditional state to it. When Christ lost his son, when God lost his son, which was Jesus, he loved the world, potentially to lose his son forever. Right. And when you think about that, that's like, wow. I mean, that's just a wild mindset that God would even think about trying. And the people didn't even know they needed to be saved. didn't even accept Christ when he came down. And a lot of times I think what happens to a lot of people is that they have so much selfishness inside them. They're consumed with themselves. They're not thinking about their brother. You know, the Bible says, love God with all thy heart and love thy neighbor as thyself, right? Well, if you don't love yourself, you're definitely not going to love your neighbor. So killing because someone has a different opinion of you becomes easy because they're an object. You don't see them as someone that you love and care for, right? The greatest of them, you must be a servant. So now that selfishness turns from being, you know, away from a servant to being selfish, being, I'm going to rule over you, I'm going to dominate you, and it turns into something else. And all that stuff usually goes downhill after that. But I mean, you know, yeah, what do you want to say, Mom?
No, I'm just going to go back to Jesus. Mm-hmm. How much he loved you, how much he loves me, how much he loved the world. Mm-hmm. And there's a song that says, I don't know why Jesus loved me. Mm-hmm. I don't know why he cared. I don't know why he died, but I'm sure glad he did. Mm-hmm. So, you know, if it hadn't been for his love, we wouldn't even have a chance for what we're about to face for him coming back to get us.
You know, and I think people, yeah. Sorry.
No. So I'm just saying that love conquers all. Mm-hmm. So we just have to love the Lord. He says, if you love me, he says, even keep my commandments. Mm-hmm. So our life is built around the word love, a 4-letter mm-hmm. word, but it is so powerful.
You know, we talk about hugs and stuff, but it comes down to that when you love people, regardless of the differences, regardless of stuff, you just really genuinely care about someone's well-being, even if they have a difference of opinion. And that's the sad part you have today. People just don't love people. In fact, you hear them, I hate people. And, you know, people can be mean and they can make you want to not like them. But if you truly love somebody, if you love people, it's not that you agree with them. There's a difference.
Right.
I don't agree with you, mm-hmm. but I love you despite yourself. Because, you know, even in relationships, you know, you got to love despite yourself. I remember, you know, I'm not always the perfect son, but you still love me despite myself. Mm-hmm. Right. I love my parents despite whatever happens, difference of opinion, because I love my parents. And I think that's where people mess up. Dad, you want to say something real quick?
I was going to say, you know, when I was the first one in the family to hold my son, and his grandmother was right next to me, and the nurse gave him to me, and the first words out of my mouth were, "I'm going to love him regardless of what he looks like." and you know, love is unconditional. You know, if you look at children, you have little children, you know, they naturally play with each other. They love each other. They have to be taught to hate.
Yes.
Hate is an emotion that has to be taught. Mm-hmm. You know, growing up, you know, in the little village of Cassopolis, we played with mm-hmm. blacks and whites and everybody. We played all together.
Right.
And sports we played together. Mm-hmm. It was only until we went to other towns, and I especially remember the teams when we competed with other towns. You know, I was first called, and I said, "Whoa, that's different. Mm-hmm. I never heard that before." Mm-hmm. But you know, our coach impressed us, and he used that as a tool mm-hmm. at halftime when we go in. Mm-hmm. Did you hear what they called you? I want you to go out there and show them. Mm-hmm. Beat them up. And man, we went out and we were playing teams, and we just tore them up mm-hmm. because that emotion, mm-hmm. that reaction to that hate mm-hmm. was so powerful in us mm-hmm. that we began to kind of hate. Mm-hmm. You know, we enjoyed going to certain towns, yeah, because we knew, hey, these guys don't like us. We're going to tear them up. And our coach, he encouraged us to do that. And we did. Mm-hmm. And we did. But yeah, love is an emotion that has to be taught. Mm-hmm. People just don't naturally hate. Mm-hmm. There's a reason for it. And I think that's where Satan comes in. Mm-hmm. Satan has to teach people mm-hmm. to hate other people. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. So any leading thoughts here right now? Mom, you have any final thoughts here on this?
The final thought that I have is you treat people the way you want to be treated. Mm-hmm. And the way to do that is to project love to them. And there's a song that says love conquers all, or there's a saying that says love conquers all. And there's a song that says what the world needs now is love. And right now we really do. The whole world needs love, because every day in the news you see our leader of our country projecting things that are not showing love. But it just makes me say, you know what? I've got to go higher. I've got to go higher. That's if the saying, if he's going to go lower, I've got to go higher and project love to my fellow man.
Well, that's a great thought. So everyone, love today, and really do show real love today, not the superficial love that people try to say. We're talking about real love and care about somebody. You know what I'm saying? Whether you like them or not, care today. Show some real love.
And there's a song, what the world needs now is love, sweet love.
And that's what we need right now. Thank you guys for Mom and Dad Talks. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next time. See you then. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Oh, hold on a second.